Welcome to the Futurist podcast from Honeywell. I'm your host, Ron McMurtry, Honeywell's Chief Marketing Officer. This episode is focused on the future of AI and how it's changing the way you work and serve your customers. I'll be passing the mic to Sheila Jordan, Honeywell's Senior Vice President and Chief Digital Officer. She'll discuss with a variety of experts AI and how it's shaping business and innovation. Enjoy the episode.
I'm super excited to kick off a new series that's part of the Future Is podcast. This series is all about AI and generative AI and how they are changing and how this technology is changing the way we work, live, and play. Now, I'd like to welcome our very first guest, our Senior Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, Suresh, to this first series of a broadcast to really discuss the vision of AI and how it's transforming really the way we innovate. So welcome, Suresh.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm super excited the fact that you have invited me as part of the kickoff and in our inaugural session. I'm honored and I'm super excited.
Good. Awesome. Well, we got some questions for you.
Sure.
So as technology leaders, we've seen a lot of change in disruptive technology over the years. And about every 5 to 6 years, I think something new emerges that really, whether it's the internet or cloud computing or cell phones coming into the enterprise, that really becomes somewhat controversial, or we have to debate it, or we have to see how it applies in the enterprise. We've seen a lot, but in my time, 20 plus years, I haven't seen a technology as disruptive with the speed of AI, especially generative AI. It's truly touching virtually every industry, and it seemed like it came out of nowhere less than 2 years ago. So what are your thoughts on AI from your perspective? Do you think it's as disruptive as I think it is? Are you seeing it, being applied to our products and services?
Sheila, both of us been in the technology industry. We've seen so many new evolution. This is pretty unique. The last 2 to 3 years, what we have really seen, it's an intersection between AI, natural language processing, and a context-aware. The combination of these three, and the fact is, it's not that it's new technology. It's been there under research for the last 10 years. But finally, you have something, an advanced machine learning algorithm, that accuracy level is so good.
And a couple of things on that. So one, I agree with you. And I actually think when a technology is successful, it's because sometimes it's the timing of it. And we've spent years getting more and more data inside the organization. And the data now, there's this plethora of data that you can't sift through it as much as, or as easily as you could. It's there, but you sift through it. And then your point is on simplifying the processes. Gen AI has the ability to sit on top of that data and the processes to figure out and help us think through that a human eye can't do because the plethora and the magnitude. And then, of course, you've got on that technology or infrastructure side, you've got some of the compute power that allows us to do that. So I do think all these other technologies have come together to create the perfect storm. So I know I told you we had a lot to talk about. So now let's shift to the second question. With the mega trends of automation, the future of aviation and energy transition, how are we integrating AI into our products and services to support and advance these three mega trends?
You take those three mega trends and then starting to look at from a business model slice standpoint, Sheila. It's a product that we design. We do very, very well. We've been a controls company all 130 years right now. As a control system company, we have used deterministic models so far. It's rule-based, heuristic-based. Yes, we kind of tried machine learning and a few other algorithms here and there. But I think now we have the models pretty much available to completely redesign your product from scratch. Even the deterministic models are available right now.
And for the non-engineering audience, it really is one-dimensional. What you're explaining as our existing models is one-dimensional.
It's a learning system. Because in the past, when we designed it, we probably hard-coded rules.
Right.
But now you have models that can learn on its own over a period in time.
And that's multidimensional.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, when you go to the projects, that's meaning for others, we're working on a project called Project Spider. This is about 5,000 engineers in a project businesses. They go to a field and then they actually take up products. They install, they commission, they integrate, and then they enable services in the future. And then we realize that we do not have enough tools as we are working together. But we realized that by putting a large language model on the top, you could assist the designers for designing, analyzing the spec, installing, commissioning. I think this will be very, very disruptive.
And as it gets smarter, it's going to tell you that if they have a design component that doesn't exist, or we have a supply chain problem with that, it might tell you an alternate design solution.
That's cool. And the other one is Vimal's favorite, standard bills. I may have a components in one part of the business, mechanical motors that can be standardized across the company. Huge, huge value. Services, we are working right now. We are using EAM that you have deployed. We are mining the install base and asking the question, how do I upsell some of the products that I may potentially make from other businesses? We're using AI right there. Then once you get to a software, SaaS space, it's Forge. And at this juncture, we're going to be really bringing in more AI-based solution for predictive maintenance solution, diagnostic solution. I think I see the possibilities are unlimited, Sheila, at this juncture. So any teams, but cutting through the business model, you absolutely see a probability of leveraging your deterministic AI models or probabilistic model across your value chain.
Yeah, it is. It just gets so exciting when the potential, because it's sitting on the current data that we currently have, and we're just getting smarter and smarter and smarter.
Can I say something?
Sure.
It's an area that you probably taught us in the last 3-4 years. I don't think anybody saw the need for the data. Yes. Think about it this way. We were selling products. And as you realize, the last reviews that we had, we are starting our engine now, going back to our install base to say, I need to connect to EBI in buildings, I need data back. I need to connect to Experion in plant, I need a data back. Because we're realizing, one, you have to have an access to your data. Second, you have to have a quality of the data, crystallized it, and it has to be prepared for your large language model. If that is not ready yet, you will never be able to build any solution on top, no matter what.
Right. It is. I always say it's all about the data. And when we begin to really monetize the data, the possibilities, I think, are endless.
That's right.
Okay, so what about the future of AI for industrial organizations? In the next 5 to 10 years, how do you predict AI can help businesses in their automation journey? I think
you use the word automation. One of the key themes for us is shifting from automation to autonomy. Now, when you go from automation to autonomy, very clearly what are we saying? Can I build an autonomous aircraft, autonomous building, an autonomous industrial plant? What does it mean? We are actually saying throughout in our last 100 years, we built control platform administered and driven by either an operator or a pilot. I'm generalizing it. Now we are saying, how do we really drive the productivity improvement? Can we actually move from, in an aircraft world, we're using the world, can I get to a single pilot operating? We heard one of our customers say that. Can I have reduced flight crew operating an aircraft? And how do I actually get my systems integrated so that it is for safety of that aircraft, you need to drive autonomy a lot more. When you get to a plant, there are two types of plant. In developed market, we see the need for more workers operating this equipment, but we may not have enough. But how do you really improve the throughput with the existing workforce? But when you go to a developed market or high growth regions like Middle East that we are starting to see, there are not enough qualified talent. How do we really build this knowledge infrastructure to help them to aid? So I think you're starting to really see the pivot and shift to an autonomy strategy for the next 5 to 10 years. Honeywell has to really bring in AI within an edge site so that all your devices will be smart enough. Then our Forge is going to play the most important role.
So what exciting partnerships can you tell us about that you're driving at Honeywell associated with Gen AI?
We signed our MOU with Google recently. The whole reason was the Vertex AI platform that they bring in, that brings in the whole portfolio, close to 150 models that are available for us, right from Google's model to third-party model. I think that is liberating. That doesn't mean that we're not going to go and look at OpenAI, because OpenAI and Google's model are going to give an optionality for us to solve customer problem. I think that's the way I actually see it. So Google's partnership is to really amplify our exploring AI models and redoing our products in Forge. The other thing that we actually went behind Google is to really get an access to their Nano, which is their small language model. I'm waiting for a day where we can deploy those small language model within our edge devices. That will be brilliant in the future, that nobody has actually tried within our peer industry. Then if you really double click, and semiconductor players, we work with all of them: TI, ADI, NXP, and Qualcomm. Recently, we actually signed up with NXP because we want to amplify and accelerate our roadmap for our aerospace. So I think across the board, they're bringing their innovation to us, and we are transforming both internal product development and innovation lifecycle, and also trying to figure out what can we do for our customers.
I think it's a really important point. In the digital IT space, we naturally work with third-party companies. We have a philosophy that we're buying, commercially available software when it's available. We work with SIs, our system integrators. So to see, and I just think we as a digital organization become smarter when we leverage and work with external third parties. And I think that the rest of the company now leaning into and using those companies to really partner together and co-innovate, I think it's super exciting.
It's new to us.
Yes. Okay, so let's look at our own business. How are our engineers and product development teams using AI? What does a day in the life look like for an engineer today? And then what will it look like in literally 18 months? Because I know I've already implemented some things that your team has taken off in an accelerated fashion.
Let me probably share with you what we have done. And then I think your question on the future is intriguing, because that world will change dramatically every single day. What we've really done for close to 4,000 developers right now, we have deployed GitHub Copilot. We're starting to see somewhere between 6 to 10% of code today in production are generated by AI. It's super transformative.
So I think you're going to say that again. 10% today.
10% of code in our production
that's being built in production is generated by AI.
It's a big deal.
Super exciting.
Now think about this way. We have 4,000 engineers, I said. Anything between 5 to 10% is close to 200 to 400 FTE equivalent work is really done by software. Now, immediate reaction is, are you thinking about eliminating the number of developers? No. In fact, I used to be a developer, and I actually see the opportunity for my development teams to actually go and spend time with customers, to really think about architecture, designing, solving the most complex problem. They are the innovators. I don't really see them sitting and actually typing the code, documenting the code. But I think your question was, day in the life of our innovation teams. I actually foresee a day that a product management team or offering management team should be using LLMs to really assess market needs, competition, really getting an insights from the market. What do they really care for? And I think with that as an insight, that should feed our product innovation machine or the requirement spec. Designers and engineers should be building products not in years or months, in weeks and days, to build prototypes to actually engage customers real-time basis. And then the concept called MVO 1, 2, and 3 is here to stay. But the key thing is starting to work with customers and innovate with them. I think that's an opportunity that I see.
So if I can paraphrase, this is like co-innovation together with customers at scale.
That's right.
That's like super exciting. And again, what you also said was it wasn't as much about a productivity play as it is really about acceleration. Like we can get to products faster, rapid prototyping. People can see it. But anyway, I just think I would just say get engaged, jump in and start small. So as we move into the new year, how will AI be a part of your daily life more than it is today?
I'm really hoping that Apple Intelligence will transform my world. Second, I have my laptop, both personal and official. Everything is going to be embedded with copilots or augmented with copilots.
Right. The laptop is going to get smarter.
Right.
Yeah.
Ability to leverage copilots to eliminate the waste that I may have in my day.
Right. That's so exciting. In fact, Apple Intelligence talks about they're going to create the whole new series of emojis. So we're going to have a whole new series of emojis coming our way, some of which can be animated, or maybe we even have an avatar of Suresh on this emoji.
I think it will be cool.
Okay, Suresh, final question. How do you take the Gen AI hype and make it really real and practical?
This is what I did it. I'm going to just share my practical example. I did not believe in POCs and pilots because I knew that the technology was ready. And for me, it's about what are the big problems we would like to solve. And as you know, that you helped us to start curating that from a functional lens standpoint. I went and looked at it between my business model work that I had in GPMO or a project solutions portfolio or in software or in R&D. If you really go back and look at your value stream, and you may actually say, okay, there are so much of inefficiency and waste, but I have data, and how do I transform? I think that's the way I would start, by looking at a big problem. Second one is, this is not going to come by just signing huge SOWs with large consulting or so. Handpick the set of great AI developers with you. They were starting to build the first concept. Then you can bring in all your partners to actually build a massive, big infrastructure that you need. So this is going to come by doing. We're going to learn through this process. Every single week I've learned in the last 12 months, but that's not going to happen by just having a big picture strategy and POCs. That's the one thing that I would actually redo different.
Okay, so there you have it. Define the problem, dive in, jump in, and get the right talent. So thank you very much, Suresh, for your invaluable insights as we think about the transformational power of AI. It's clear that AI is not just a buzzword, but it really is an enabling technology that will reshape the future of Honeywell in all of our industries, driving innovation, revolution in the way we work, live, and play. To all of our listeners, we hope this session has provided you with a deeper understanding of how AI is paving the way for innovation at Honeywell and beyond.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Future is Podcast. For more stories on the trends and technology shaping business, follow us where you listen to podcasts or visit us at honeywell.com.